Right, so I take a look at sequences today. I'll play through arithmetic sequences. Mostly I'll write AP, or the geometric progressions. Mostly I'll be writing GPs. So the first example said, consider this sequence -20, -30, -3, 14, and 31. We are to find the type of sequence, find the 13th term of that sequence. We generate the general term and take a look at the sum of the first 16 terms. Now, to know the type of sequence, we know that APs have common difference and GPs have common ratio. So we need to run this check. We check for common difference. If it has the same answer, then the given sequence is an AP. We check for common ratios. If it has the same answer, then the given sequence is a GP. Now it follows a specific pattern. To check the difference is always T2 minus T1, T3 minus T2, and or 31 minus 14, or T4 minus T3. It is same way or it follows the same pattern for GPs also, just that with the ratios we have to divide them. The differences we have to subtract, but the ratios I will do this, divide this, this divide this, this by this. So to know the type of sequence, I will first run a common difference check. -3 minus -20. This is 17. I will also check 14 minus -3. 17 again. So I know there is a common difference of 17. D is 17. That's the type of sequence will be an arithmetic progression, or AP. Now it says find term 13. Since I know that it's an AP, I have to go to the section for AP and 8 formulas on my formula sheet and solve accordingly. To find a term in an AP, Tn is given as A, where A is the first term, plus n minus 1 times D. A plus n minus 1 times D. So if I need a 13th term, it means my n is 13. A is the first term, which is -20, so I have -20 plus 30 minus 1 is 12 times D is 17. So I only have to look at -20 plus 12 times 17. And my answer is 184. So the 13th term is 184. This time it says find the general term. The general term means we are going to write this without knowing the value of n. So we only have to replace our A and D here and simplify. So the general term here, Tn, will be A is minus 20 plus n minus 1 times 17. Then I can simplify this. -20 plus 17n minus 17. -20 minus 17 is -37. So the general term for this sequence is -37 plus 17n. Tn is -17n minus 37. It says we should find the sum of the first 16 terms. So once I know that it's an AP, I will stay with the formula to find the sum for AP. It says for AP, Sn is n over 2. Because I don't know the last term, I cannot use A plus L, but I have to use n minus 1 times D. So I'll just do that. Sum of the first 16 terms means my n is 16. So I have 16 over 2. 2 times -20 plus n minus 1, 15 times 17. Then I'll put this on my calculator and I have the answer. 16 over 2 all into 2 into -20. Close the bracket, add 15 and 17 again. 1,720. So S16, or sum of the first 16 term, is 1,720. So I used this and this because I checked and it was an AP. Now let's look at this word problems. It says the fourth term of a GP is 7 and the seventh term is 0.875. Once we are told that it's a GP, we don't need to run any check again. To find the term of a GP, Tn is always given as A or the first term times the common ratio to a power n minus 1. So if I need T for the fourth term, it is A times R to a power 4 minus 1, which is just A R to a power 3. That fourth term is 7. The seventh term is going to be AR6, which is 0.875. So this is equation 1, this is equation 2. Then I can solve the two equations simultaneously for A and R. If I divide, or if I do equation 2, divide with equation 1, I'm dividing this with this. So A will cross out, R6 divided by R3 is just R3, and 0.875 divided by 7 is 1/8. So if I need R, I have to do the cube root of my answer. And R will just be cube root of 1 is 1, cube root of 8 is 2. So my common ratio is 1/2. I can put this common ratio back in any of the two equations and solve for my A. A equals 7 divide R cube, solving from this. So A equals 7 divided with 1/8. And A is flip and multiply 56. I will take another set of examples where we might probably be checking for a GP and solve some word problems with AP. Just 1 minute. So it says there's another sequence 100, 80, 64, and 51.2, and so forth and so on. Find term number 10. Now we don't know whether this is an AP or GP, so we cannot just go and find the term. So we need to again run a check. I can check for differences. 80 take away 100 is negative 20. 64 take away 80 is not negative 20, so it is not an AP. Let's check for ratios, common ratio. 80 divided by 100, 0.8. 64 divided with 80, 0.8. So there is same answer. So there is a common ratio of 0.8. Now, when there's a common ratio, I know this sequence is a GP. And I can use the set of formulas under GP to answer these questions. It says find the 10th term. For a GP, Tn, we said earlier, A times R, n minus 1. If I need a 10th term, I have to do A, 100, times with my R, 0.8. 10 minus 1, 9. Then I'll put this on the calculator and have my answer. 100 times with 0.8 to the power 9. That is 13.42. So 13.4 is my answer. It says find the recursive formula. For a GP, the recursive formula is always Tn plus 1 is your Tn times R, where your T1 equals the first term. So I can just put that here. That the recursive formula Tn plus 1 will be Tn times 0.8. And my T1 equals 100. So look at this simple word problem here. I'll get the equations here and solve here. That is why I kept the question here. It says term 6 or T6 of an AP. Term 6 of an AP is 20 and the 11th term is 55. For any AP, we said Tn. For any given AP, we said Tn is the first term plus n minus 1 times the common difference. So what this means is if I need T5, it's going to be A plus 5 minus 1d, so that is like a plus 4d, and this equal 20. If I need 11 term, it's just going to be a plus 10 times d, and that is 55. Equation 1, equation 2. And I solve these two equations simultaneously for a and d. If I subtract the two equations, equation 2 minus 1, this minus this is 0. 10d minus 4d, 6d equals 55, minus 20 is 35. So d is 35 over 6. 35 divided by 6. 5.8. Common difference 5.8 to 1 decimal place. Then I can put d back in any of these two equations and find my a. From equation 1, a is equal to 20 minus 4 times d. So 20 minus 4 times 5.8. 20 minus 4 times. And the answer is negative 3.2. I got my A, got my D. Subscribe to the channel. Let's continue to make maths beautiful. Thank you.